Hi everybody, welcome to this October 1st evening garden stroll. We've had a couple late frosts here in Zone 5, New York State, so I wanted to take this opportunity to go around and show you things that are still looking good. We should all be jotting down these late blooming perennials and trying to incorporate them wherever we can in our garden. So we're going to just wander around, look at things. Some are a little good, some might be a little past peak, but they're still worth mentioning. There's a nice little grouping of asters right here. I'm not sure exactly which ones they are, but they're looking very nice. You can't beat asters for their fall color. And I'm going to insert in this video at some point, I took a walk a couple days ago down in the field to record the wild asters. The miscanthus grass is looking okay. Didn't get as tall this year. I think that's partially drought driven. And you can see it's starting to splay open, which means we're going to be cutting it back in a couple weeks. Now, this is the Persicaria firetail, and I cut that back earlier this season. I'm thinking probably the beginning of August, and look at the nice flush of new blooms on it. That's a nice plant. I gave away a lot of that. It has nice leaf texture. I'm really pleased that it's blooming this late in the season. Now, as we scoot over here, I'm going to get the name wrong, but I'll put it on the screen. But I think this is something like a lepidenza, and it's Gibraltar. And it got hit by the frost last night. But it's a member of the pea family, and it has this most beautiful weeping form with these graceful arching branches. I think that's something everybody should be considering for the garden. And the fact that it may be a reseeder, since it'll be cut down in the fall, I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. And let's see what else we've got. We still have some Nicotiana in bloom. That just reseeds all over the place. And we're going to scoot this way. I'm going to try and walk fast because it's getting cold. You can see the igloo mums. Now, I'm not sure which ones they are. They definitely should have been pinched back, but they're not showing any stress from any kind of frost, which they shouldn't this time of year. They can take it. They actually like this colder weather. But if you're looking for perennial mums, look for the Igloo series. And I know I keep saying that in all the videos. For those of you who keep watching, I'm sorry. Nicotiana. That's probably going to be hit by the frost relatively quickly. There's another nice little aster here. Let's see if we can get here. See that bright red? I think this is Alma. I'll look it up and I'll put the name on the screen. Unfortunately, it has flopped over. I probably should have Chelsea chopped it or put it in a cage to keep it a little tidier. Remember those dahlias that overwintered? Guess what's looking really nice now? Pretty little dahlias. I can't believe that number one, they survived the winter, but they also survived the drought because we have had no rain, still no rain. We had one day where we got probably 1/4 of an inch, just enough to revitalize the lawn, but everything else is still bone dry. That's the alyssum from Proven Winners. It's the purple variety. Really, really like that plant. I think it's worth mentioning. We've got it's not snowberries, but they're going to be turning pink pretty soon. The Gomphrena is showing just a touch of frost damage. The Clara Curtis chrysanthemums are still doing pretty good. They're showing their age, as is the salvia from Proven Winners. And this, look at this beautiful, beautiful mum. This is one of the Igloo series. I'm not sure which one it is, but these flowers are so tiny and it's just beautiful. And I didn't cut this back, I didn't pinch it, so it's relatively stable and sturdy. But the flowers remind me almost of feverfew, a white double feverfew. Just beautiful. Let's see what else we have here. Obviously the Sedum Autumn Joy. My containers, they're starting to show the frost damage. We've got some nice Perovsky still going strong. And let's see. I've got to get out here and trim my spires. It's just been such a busy couple weeks. That's why I haven't had a chance to post. And October is just going to be even busier. Here's another little mum from the Igloo series. This one definitely should have been pinched back because it flops. And remember, I've mentioned these dahlias, this beautiful dark foliage that hasn't flowered. Well, now it's starting to flower a little bit. I love the foliage, I love the flowers, but this is the first time it's really started flowering all season. And it's going to get hit by the frost in no time flat. So sweetly, anemones. They've been blooming a long time. Really recommend that plant. And let's see, we're going to go this way. The Victoria Salvia in blue is holding its own. Black-eyed Susans, they've just about had it. The Limelight, it's not as pretty as it should, and really that's because of the frost. Or not the frost, because of the drought. There have been days when I've just seen this wilting, so it is what it is. Now, question. You guys all see this big blue plant? It's about 5 feet tall. Has these beautiful blue flowers on it. It's sporadically flowered all season, but this is the best that it has looked. And earlier today, it was just covered with bees. So it's a late season bloomer that is definitely beneficial for the insects late in the season. I'm trying to see, it does have square stems, but if anybody knows what variety this is or what this is, can you please put it in the comments? I just would like to know, because I do want to move it, but because I'm not happy with where it is. I didn't think it was going to get that tall, but being a late season bloomer, I think it's really nice for that. Let's see here. You can see that the Nicotiana is still blooming pretty good. That's going to hit back by the frost. It's not going to last much longer. The Cosmos got hit, so I'm taking that out already. It's so sad that it's time to start cutting things down. And let's see what we got going this way. You can see we've been doing a little infrastructure work here. That's why there's this trench through the yard. There's always something, isn't there? As a homeowner, there's always something going on. You can see this area still needs to be dug out. As I said, we are getting no rain and nothing really in the forecast. Now, some of you might be interested in this. Look at what's blooming, and blooming beautifully. The phlox. That's the phlox that we Chelsea chopped. What was it, in July? And it's blooming now. And I'm not sure if it would normally be blooming this time of season because of the Chelsea chop normally, or if it's been stunted because of the drought situation. But that's kind of interesting. It is shorter, but to have blooms late in the season, kind of nice. The purple asters are just starting. And you can see there's all kinds of sleeping bees on these. But I think these were supposed to be purple dome. And they are about 4 feet tall. I should have cut them back. Chelsea chopped them. They'd be a little better behaved and not as floppy. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with these. Maybe now that I'm retired and I can actually enjoy the garden later in the season, I'll be happier with them. But in the past, it was always a rush to get things cut down, and I would be cutting them down just as they started blooming. This is a good plant. This is the Proven Winners spider plant. I think there's 3 of them in there. Gone through the drought beautifully. I really didn't water them. They're holding up okay, but they are an annual, so they are going to get hit back relatively quickly here. And look what's blooming. Remember my red lark delphiniums? Remember how happy I was with them? And then the storm came through and knocked them down. But I got one little bloom. We'll see how they do. It's been tough. It's been tough. That deep purple salvia from Proven Winners, it just looks so rich this time of year. And let's see here. We have some more of the Autumn Joy sedum. The variegated liriope just glows right now. Oh, and my smoke bush, my yellow smoke bush. Look at the size of this thing. It was only supposed to get about 5 feet tall. It's easily 10 feet tall now. Very, very happy there. Unfortunately, it's blocking my spire because it's so tall. So that's going to get a major trim back. As is this 9-bark, because it's just, it can't read the plant tags. It doesn't know how big it's supposed to get, and it's just getting too big. I also wanted to mention this is supposed to be a native coreopsis, and it gets rather tall. It's planted too close to this tree, obviously, but there's one section of it that's probably a good 8 feet tall. So that needs to be moved out into the perennial garden, but that might look really nice next to that Boltonia, the white Boltonia, that gets about 7 or 8 feet tall. That's also native, so I think the 2 of them together could be quite nice. The shade garden is still holding its own, partially because it's all planted under the crabapple trees, and they tend to protect it a little bit from the frost. The snake root is a little bit past prime, but beautiful, beautiful. It's now called Actea. I think in the past it was Semicifigua. I'm not sure which variety it is, and it smells so good. You can stand 10 feet away and smell it. Coleus, you can see it hasn't been hit by the frost, but it is starting to flower. I've been taking cuttings off of it, so I have quite a bit that will go in the basement this year, so that I'll have plenty of plants for next year. And that Sum and Substance hosta is still holding on pretty darn good. Let's go up this way. Oh, I'm going to spin you around this way. You can see that our little gazebo here, the flowers around that are still looking really nice. As are the sheep planters. Try and zoom in for that. They turned out pretty good. right, let's walk up towards the front of the house because I want to show you some planters. Let's see, let's go this way. Because the planters, I'm going to be emptying them out in the next couple weeks. I'm not going to cover them tonight. As I said, October is just super busy and we have a lot on our plate this October. So babying plants is not on the agenda. They're starting to look a little tired, but oh my goodness, these containers were just fabulous. And the hummingbirds absolutely adored them. If anybody wants hummingbirds, I would strongly suggest this. And there was a video where I outline which plants I put into these pots. Our hummingbirds are officially gone. We haven't seen any for quite a while. The pond is still a pond, but the hostas are super, super crispy. Again, no rain. They were divided last year. I didn't supplemental water them. This is full sun. On a good day, they're not happy here, but when you go weeks and weeks without rain, recipe for disaster. Now, some of you may wonder what this big fluffy plant is. That's the wild mullein, and people have asked that early in the season. They've seen it in the garden when I've done early spring tours and wondered what it was. That's what it is. And then look at my spider flower here. That was just a random seed that germinated. That's just one plant. And it's easily 6 feet tall by 8 feet wide. And it's loaded with seeds. See all these little? That's all the seeds. Now these do have thorns, I believe, although I don't see any right now. I still have a lot of plants that need to be put in the ground, but again, with no rain, now let's take a look. These planters are still looking really, really nice. A little taller than I wanted them to be, but I'm not going to complain. The yellow daisies really like the cooler weather better, so this time of year they're doing fantastic. But they're all annuals, so there are some spider plants in there that I may end up taking out. I'm not sure. And let's see, I think we're just going to walk down the sidewalk here. You can see the pumpkins. I've started decorating a little bit for Halloween. My plan is to put solar lights by each of these pumpkins so that they will glow at night. And once the tree loses its leaves, this area will be nice and sunny, so those solar lights will work. We are expecting to have some work done on the house this year. So my husband asked me to keep the decorating to a minimum around the house. But I do love my spiders. And it's so easy to put them up. They're just on a hook, just like you put Christmas wreaths up there. So really easy to put up and take down. And you can see I kept my front porch very, very simple, because if we got some guys coming to do work on the house, they may need me to move these things really quickly, so I didn't want to go into a lot of depth up here on the porch. And some more spiders. And just a view out the front yard. You can see the hostas are starting to die back. But the red begonias are still looking beautiful. It's going to be so sad when these go, because they do look just fantastic. All right, we're going to keep walking down here. We've got some Hardy Mums. These are not Igloo series. I've had these here for years and years. I think they originally came from my mom's house, so I'm not sure which variety they are. They really need a lot more light than they're getting here, and they really should have been pinched back. But as we walk backwards down the sidewalk towards the garage, you can see I've got some pumpkins here to greet visitors. I have a stash of fake pumpkins that I still need to put somewhere around. And then for the past week or so, I have been decorating the front of the garage. Since my husband didn't want me to do the house because of the work we're going to have done on it, I decided I would do major decorating around the front of the garage. And I went with a Wizard of Oz theme. So you can see the Tin Man with Toto. And then if we come over here, you can see the Wicked Witch with her broom. And then we come over here to the far end, and we have the Cowardly Lion along with the Scarecrow. And yes, I made all this stuff. I did not buy pre-made forms from Lowe's or Home Depot. If you guys are interested, I'm going to be posting some videos on how I made these. So if you would like to learn, just watch those videos. Each one is about 15 minutes long. We had to move the pots that were at the front of the garage, and you can see they're right here. I'm going to be emptying these out pretty soon because they are definitely not going to handle major frost. But they'll probably do okay here for tonight because the house will kind of keep them a little bit protected. But I am going to try and bring in the begonias that are in there, the Rex begonias. And I may try and overwinter the elephant ears, even though I was very disappointed with them. They didn't grow worth a darn. Our zebra grass is very zebra. And then the last thing I think we're going to look at are the pots along the side of the garage. This pot turned out fantastic. Those elephant ears did exactly what they were supposed to do. Wish the rest of them did it. Most of them stayed a little bit too small. You can see they just didn't get big. I don't know why. But the Concoleus did fantastic. And then this one, I love the yellow with the spider plants and the little white euphorbia with the Concoleus. And if that elephant ear had been in the middle, would have been so much better. And then we have our final pot, which took a beating in the wind. That's when the coleus broke, and then the elephant ear just never grew worth a darn. So I think that's about it. You've seen everything there is worth seeing this time of year. Leaves are starting to fall, which means it's going to be time to start raking and piling them as mulch around things. So I thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to share, like, and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. And please check out the videos on how to make the Tin Man, or the Scarecrow, the Lion, the Wicked Witch, and the Tin Man. And if you're local and you have any kids that you would like to come and have pictures taken, I'd love to find somebody who's dressing up as Dorothy to come in to get pictures taken with this. But please feel free to stop by. We're in Blossville, New York, Lewis Road. And last year we got no trick-or-treaters. But hopefully this year we'll get some. So have a great day, guys. Get out in your garden, do some cleanup, and put up your Halloween decorations. Take care. Bye-bye. Who needs to put asters in the garden when Mother Nature does such a wonderful job and just fills the fields with them?